So I'm going to start my today's session on the discussion of skewness and kurtosis. Skewness and kurtosis is a very important topic. And as you have so far learned about normal random variable and the normal distribution curve, so I think you are in a position to understand the basics of skewness and kurtosis, which is also very important in statistical analysis. For skewness and kurtosis, the fundamental notion which is required is called the moment. And we have already discussed moment twice in the classroom. Yesterday, I took a class with CSE section B. There I discussed about moment generating function. The video has been uploaded in the YouTube. So if you have not gone through the video, I am recommending the video to you. You do it as early as possible. Now, to start with, I have noted down, just to recapitulate, what moments are. Since my today's discussion is based on the application of moment, so therefore, let's begin with the discussion of moment. We know that moment can be defined in two ways. One is called moment about origin, and another is called moment about mean. So moment about origin is defined as, and specifically the rth moment about the origin is defined by the following formula represented in star. The first part of the formula is for discrete case. The second part of the formula is for continuous case. When the discrete case is there, you see that the power r can take values from 0, 1 to up to infinity, and the very integrand is integrated from minus infinity to plus infinity. So rth moment about the origin for a random variable capital X is denoted by mu r prime, which is the expected value of x to the power r, and it is defined in the following manner. For continuous case, it is the integration of minus infinity to plus infinity of the quantity this. Similarly, moment about the mean is denoted by the rth moment about mean of a random variable capital X, denoted by mu r, is the expected value of x minus mu to the power r, and is defined as mu r, which is given by the following formula, which is for the discrete case, and the second one is for the continuous case. I am not elaborating this thing because you already know it. This is the formula which I shall be requiring for calculation of skewness and kurtosis. So I am asking all of you, if you have pen and paper in front of you, just note down the following formula, because whenever I'll be scrolling down, so that you can take the reference of the formula as when required. What is this formula about? This formula is about a relationship between rth moment about mean and rth moment about origin. Okay, so on the left hand side, you see that rth moment about mean is written. This rth moment about mean is expressed as the linear combination of rth moment about origin. The first quantity is mu r prime, the second quantity is rc1 mu r minus 1 prime, and so on. And you can take any value of r from 1 to 3 goes up to infinity. So this relationship I am suggesting you to memorize for the sake of the problem solving parts of the chapter. If you can't memorize the entire thing, at least try to memorize up to 4 terms. I shall recommend. And the formula, you can get it from the exercise of John Freund. This formula can also be proved with the help of mathematical induction. So you can first show that when it is a matter of r, when r equals to 1, then mu1 and mu1 prime, they are actually same. Then you can do the calculation by taking r equals to 2. Then you can take the calculation for r equal to 3. And after that, you can assume that the result is true for r equal to k, and subsequently it can also be true for r equal to k plus 1. So I think that you probably know the rule of mathematical induction. If you don't know, for the sake of your understanding, I'm writing it quickly. First show r is equal to 1. For r equals to 1, the result holds. The result holds. And result also holds for r equals to 2 and 3. Then you have to assume that the result is true for r equals to some general value k, and this implies the result holds for r equals to k plus 1. Consequently, this method is called mathematical induction. Mathematical induction is taught to the CSE students in great detail in their 4th semester course. And nowadays in school curriculum, a brief introduction of mathematical induction is always there. So actually I thought that probably you'd know what mathematical induction is. So if you don't know, you can note down what I have written on the right hand side of this portion. You can take a snapshot of this because I'm going to scroll down. Now, this particular formula, if I talk about the proof is not extremely important. You can skip the proof, but if you want, you can try it. But what is most important is the memorization of the formula, because that will be helpful for solving problems in this particular chapter. So let's scroll down. If you have any doubts or queries, then you don't write in the chat box first of all, because students are writing the roll numbers also, and it is not possible for me to every time go and check is there anything that you want to know. The best possible way is to raise your hand, and then I'll allow you to speak in the platform. Okay, so that is my suggestion to you. Let's proceed with the further discussion. Now you see, this thing is actually called skewness. What is happening over here? You know that normal curve can be drawn in the following manner. This is the shape of the normal curve. And this curve is symmetric about the midpoint, which is z equal to 0. Okay. And if we talk about normal curve, I mean this curve is standard normal curve, which I have drawn over here. If I talk about normal curve only, then we know that it also looks like this. The only difference is that this middle point is no longer origin, it is x equal to mu. And origin is somewhere on the left hand side, probably here, you can imagine. So I am drawing the normal curve on the positive side of the x-axis. You can draw the normal curve on the negative side of the x-axis also. Okay, so your normal curve can look like this also. So it is the normal curve. It is symmetric about, say, x equal to, and this is your origin. So that can also happen. So in all these three cases, we encounter with a normal curve, which is symmetric about the mean. What will happen if this is not the scenario? Okay, if this is the scenario, here you see the thing is not symmetric about the mean. If I consider this to be mean, suppose this point I'm drawing over here, it is the mean, x equal to mu, or say this is the mean, x equal to mu. So now you see that there is a kind of biasness towards the right end, and but here the biasness is towards the right, and here you can say the biasness towards the left of the mean value. That thing, when it is biased towards left, the curve is biased towards left, it is called negatively skewed curve. And if it is biased towards right, it is called positively skewed curve. Now, if you get the data of the COVID affected people of this country starting from September 2020 till February end 2021, probably you will see that the number of affected people were increasing, but in a very slow pace like this. And suddenly, at this hour, it is at its high level. It's peaked. If suddenly it drops. Now, if the going down of the peak, if the going down of the peak is like this, if we see in the coming months that we have observed this kind of scenario, here the average x equal to the average of the random variable will have some different value, say mu1, then I will say that yeah, this curve is symmetric. Now that hasn't yet happened. Okay, so I cannot say anything about that. But so if we suddenly see in the month of June that this number of COVID affected people drop suddenly like this, then this will no longer be symmetric. In a specific way, the number of cases were rising, but suddenly it drops below. So that will not be symmetric. So the rising and the increasing of the COVID cases and the decreasing of the COVID cases are not symmetric to one another. Okay. So here also, or suppose you can say that the current scenario rather looks like this. It may look like this because I have not studied it. I'm just intuitively saying that this there were no cases of COVID affected people from the month of September to the month of February 2021. And suddenly, in the month of March, there was a high peak. Okay, so we are at this stage. You can think like that. But the entire analysis will not be completed until we see what is going to happen in the coming months. But if the scenario is like this, suddenly jumps up, suddenly jumps down, then this kind of scenario is not symmetric at all, that we can all say, and therefore this is called asymmetry. This nature of the curve is called asymmetry, and this asymmetry is studied by the quantity which is called skewness. So the skewness has been defined over here. As you can see, the lack of symmetry in a distribution means in a probability distribution chart, is known as skewness. So in both the curves below, there is a lack of symmetry. The curve with skewness is called the skewed curve. The left hand side is called the negatively skewed curve, and the right hand side is called the positively skewed curve. I will ask all of you to please draw these two diagrams in your copy, because in my further discussions, these diagrams will be required. Okay. Now the question is how much the curve is skewed. Everything you know in mathematics and statistics can be quantified. So the question is how much your curve is skewed. Is there any kind of quantification of this thing? The answer lies in the tool which is known as the measure of skewness. By skewness, we actually study the symmetry or the lack of symmetry of a particular curve. And as you can see below, that I have already highlighted that this lack of symmetry is quantified by the formula, which is denoted by alpha 3, and which is the ratio of the third moment with standard deviation raised to the power 3. So mu 3 by sigma 3 is the formula which will help us to find the skewness of a particular curve. Now, already you have understood that this mu 3, if you want to talk about what is mu 3, what is the actual notation? Mu 3 is a notation which the authors have used to tell you about the third moment, about mean. But what is the actual notation that we know about mu 3? Mu 3 is denoted by this thing, this quantity is called the mu 3. Expectation of the random variable about mean raised to the power 3, that is called mu 3. And if it is a mu 3 prime, then it could have been the formula ex cube. Okay, now whatever it is, you know that now we require the actual theorem, the theorem which was shown to you earlier. From that theorem, you can calculate the quantities of your choice. Okay, now probably mu 3, the direct calculation of mu 3 is not possible, but what you can do, you can calculate the moment about origin, the third moment about origin, that is mu 3 prime, and then you can calculate the second moment about origin, and then you can calculate the first moment about origin, and you can assimilate them together to find mu 3 from the theorem that I discussed earlier. And here I have noted that sigma square equals to variance of x, and which is written in the terms of expectation and moment as follows. It is already known to you, so I'm not elaborating the thing. Let's get back to the problem. I shall ask all of you, please note down this particular problem in your copy, because I'm going to discuss this problem with you right now. So please note down the problem, at least these expressions. Okay, so please do it quickly. Make a chart like this. Make a chart like this, and please take your pen and paper, draw two axes like this. Only consider the positive side, because you know all these values are probabilities. Mark the points like this in your graph. Also put the scales of the probabilities over here and raise the bars corresponding to the value 1. Raise the bar corresponding to the value 0.15. Raise the bar corresponding to the value 3, and so on. You can draw the line diagram. You can pick the line diagram, or you can choose the bar diagram. For bar diagram, you have to design your table with some intervals, because some bins will be required for doing the bar diagram, some lower limit and some upper limit, within which these values will fall. So for example, you can subtract 0.5 from this value 1, and you can add 0.5 to this value 2. So if I do so, I will get 0.5 and I'll get 1.5. Here you can subtract 0.5 from 2 and you can add 0.5 to it. So you will get 1.5 to 2.5, and then 2.5 to 3.5, and then 3.5 to 4.5, and so on. And you can set your values, your probabilities in the following manner. So instead of getting the line diagram, you are going to get the bar diagram. I'm giving you 1 minute or 2 minutes. Just do it in your copy and see what picture comes out of it. Okay, it's just a classwork. It is just a fun work. Okay, you can take it seriously if you are serious about the fun, or you can just sit idle. Now, if you have correctly done it, probably you are going to get a picture like this. I hope so. Probably you have got a picture like this. Let's not talk about the left-hand side. Let's talk about the right-hand side. This is the bar diagram of the table which you have got right now. Now, this diagram can also be drawn with the help of Microsoft Excel. And which I'm trying to show you that how can it be done. Just a minute. I hope that you can all see my Excel sheet. Now, in this Excel sheet, I have tabulated all the values of the question in 2 columns. The values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 have been noted down. The values which are actually the probabilities have been noted down. Now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to select all the values like this, and then I'm going to click on this, which is called data. And after that, I'm going to click on data analysis, where you see there is a kind of histogram. The term histogram is present. I will click on it, and I will set the input range from values like this. I will put the input values like this. I will drag it, and here I'm going to put the output values, the probabilities bin range. It is called the bin range. You can select the output level. I don't know whether it will work or not. Output level, output range means I can select any part of this particular Excel sheet, which will be, no, it is not coming. Something is missing, I think. Sorry, just a minute. I have done something wrong. This was the input range, which has been put like this. This is the output range. Bin range has been considered like this, and this is the range where I want my value. So No, it is not coming. Something is missing. I think I'm not able to show this to you right now. But it as I can directly I can find it out, but I don't know why it's not working right now. Let me give it one more try. I'm missing some point, I think, in Excel. So it is data analysis is selected, histogram is selected, okay, and then no, still it is not coming. What is the problem? I am not unable to find. I'm unable to find the problem. Just no, it is not coming. Something is missing. Some particular input level which I'm not able to. I'm not actually putting, for which this is not working. Anyways, if I can find out the error, I will show you later on. But last night I did this particular by in Excel, and I prepared the note. I don't know why it's not working right now. Okay, somebody is trying to help me out. So I don't include the values. Okay, okay, just okay. So I'm taking your suggestion. So let's see what happens. Understand? Yeah, because you are computer engineers, so you know better than me. So what he's saying that, is it all right? Is this selection all right you are talking about? And then I'm considering the data analysis. Okay, let's see. No, it is not coming. It is not coming. Your suggestion is not working over here. Still not coming. Oh, just a minute. Just a minute. I'm again trying manually. I'm selecting from here, and then I'm just selecting this, and then I'm going to select from here, and then I'm going to do this, and after that, okay, thank you so much. At last, oh my God. So you see, you have got your bean and frequency. So what I'm going to do right now, say for example, it is already selected. I'm going to choose the column from which I'm going to select the 2D column like this. Now you see what is happening. The values are what? I'm putting the values like this, because in the x-axis we need the values. So I'm putting the values in the x-axis as it is given. It can be done in other ways also, but I'm showing it in this particular way. And frequencies are kind of probabilities are kind of frequencies, you know. So I'm putting in place of frequencies, I'm putting the probabilities. So it is yeah, and I think that I can omit this portion. And now you see this graph is obtained. The graph which we have got, this graph is obtained from here. And you can do further in this case. You can format your chart area. And if you do so, then I think there is an option. no, not this one. There is an option in the format chart for format chart area section where actually we can actually minimize the gaps between two bars. I'm unable to find the the command in the toolbox. From the bar diagram, what I mean to say, from the bar diagram, by minimizing the gaps, I can form the histogram. I'm unable to find the command. I'm not that comfortable in Excel. Just I was trying to tell you that how I drew the picture in this particular note. Okay, so in this way we can draw the bar diagram, but the main point which is important, which is my point of discussion, is let's get back to the note. Look at the shape. My point is that look at the shape of the bar diagram which we have obtained. The bar diagram looks very symmetric. The bar diagram looks very symmetric, isn't it? It is just a minute. Yeah, see, it is kind of a normal curve, as if I select the middle points of these bars, and if I join them by freehand curve, this will look like the picture as it is shown. All these things can be done in Excel. I have done it in Excel, but right now I'm not, maybe I'm a little bit of tensed because of the time is running out and I have to cover important sections. So actually I'm desperately not putting my minds into it. So anyways, so the curve you see, the curve is symmetric. Now for the my point is that we are going to find out what happens to the if a particular curve is symmetric, probability curve is symmetric, what is the measure of its skewness? That we are going to study right now. Okay, so first of all, I have calculated the mean, which is mu1 prime. The mean is mu1 prime. You know, it is the mean about origin, and then I calculated the second moment about origin, which is mu2 prime. I'm not telling you the calculations because you know it very well. What I do over here, I multiply the value with its corresponding probability. In EX square, what I do, we multiply the value squared with its corresponding probability. And then when the square of the EX is subtracted from EX square, we get the variance, which is your sigma squared. Under the if we take the positive square root of this variance, we get the standard deviation, which is sigma. And you try to recall that in the formula of the skewness, sigma was present. So for the calculation of sigma, we have done this this part. Okay, so from the sigma squared, you can do it in two ways. You can take the square of the sigma, you can take the positive square root of the sigma square value, and then you can cube it, or you have the sigma squared value, you can multiply the sigma squared value with the sigma itself to get sigma cube. And then what I have done is that I have tried to use the formula which is given over here. On the left hand side, I have written the third moment about mean, which is there on the numerator, because the formula, you know, it is mu3 by sigma cube, and this can be expressed as mu3 prime minus 3c1 mu3 minus 1 prime mu plus 3c2 mu3 minus 2 prime mu square. Okay, so after a little bit of calculation, that mu3 has been expressed in the following manner. So now you see, now you look at this expression. In this expression, Mu is already calculated, because what is mu? Mu is the mean, and it is same as, the notation is same as the first moment about origin. So here mu1 prime and mu are actually same. So mu has already been calculated. We don't have to worry about it. Okay. Then mu2 prime is calculated as having the value 13.7, and mu3 prime can be calculated as follows. It is, as I told you, when I talk about mu3 prime, it is expectation about origin. So here I'm actually calculating EXS cube. So all the values are getting cubed and then are getting multiplied by their corresponding frequency or probability. I will ask you to do this calculation by yourself and to check whether my calculation is right or wrong, because in the last class I was sharing a note where a particular calculation printed was wrong. Later last night I replaced the note with an origin modified one, but therefore right now I'm not actually presenting a PDF file, because the calculation may be wrong. Maybe sometimes I do mistakes. So I'll ask you, all of you, to check the calculation. It will also, this kind of checking is also a kind of practicing. So that will be helpful for your part as well as for my part also. So I am hopeful that in this particular page, the calculation hasn't been done wrong. Otherwise, I wouldn't get this kind of value. What kind of value I'm talking about? The value which I have obtained over here, that is mu3 equal to 0. It is quite expected, because when the curve is symmetric, this has to be, because it is a known fact that for symmetric curve, the skewness, measurement of skewness gives you the value 0. That means it is telling you the curve is not at all skewed. Okay, so therefore, since the value has come out to be 0, I'm expecting that there is no error in calculation. So I'll ask you to do the repeat the calculation just to have a practice on that. And our observation is that we have seen from the above calculation that for normal curve, skewness is 0. For the positively skewed curve, the skewness is greater than 0, and for negatively skewed curve, the skewness is less than 0. These last two lines have not been checked, but it is going to happen. If you take an example and do, you'll find the other two results which have been written in the observation. First observation has been checked properly. So I'm stopping here right now. We'll continue in the second session.